Hello, all. Very good morning. It's a pleasure to meet you again in another workshop. I hope you've been keeping well. Let's do a quick audio and video check if you can hear me, see me. And the slide deck that I'm sharing with you right now, please acknowledge to the chat window on your left. All right. Thank you all. Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you so much, Simon, Joseph, Emily. Thank you, guys. Thank you all so much. Let's just give a couple of minutes for rest of our attendees to join the session. And while we wait for them, my colleagues will be posting the links to our social media handles. Please do follow us and keep yourself posted on upcoming events and other workshops that we plan for the region. And not just that, if you happen to miss our previous workshops, not to worry, we will share the recording link with you. You can have a look at it at your own convenient time. And even today's workshop is going to be recorded end to end, and we will share the recording with you shortly after the session. Right, let me quickly check. All right, looks like we do have enough number of attendees. So let me move forward with the session, starting with an overview of Showtime. So there are a couple of tabs towards your left. Let me start with the questions tab. If you have any questions during the session, please be sure to post them in the questions tab. This will help us answer all your questions one by one in an orderly fashion. Also ensures that none of your questions go unanswered. Next up is the post tab. We will be rolling out a couple of posts during this session. Please do participate in all of these posts to keep the workshop engaged. And then we have the chat window. We are not new to the chat window. We've already been communicating through that. If you have any issues with audio or video, you could let us know through the chat window. However, if there should be an issue with audio or video, the general fix would be to refresh your browser, because 99% of the time it tends to resolve the issue. I also suggest that you use a Chrome browser for seamless Showtime usage. And last but not the least, we have the Handouts tab. We've attached a couple of handouts there. I suggest that you would download these handouts anytime before the session ends. And especially, there is one handout that is named Task for the Day. You can download that particular handout right away, because we have a task for you which will come towards the end of this session, and this handout will be useful to attend that particular task. The topic for today is using automation to optimize your email campaigns, and the workshop is powered by Zoho Campaigns. I'm John Wilfred, an evangelist with Zoho, so is my colleague Anjana Mahesh, and we will be your host for today. On the Q&A, we have Swatika, who will be answering all your questions, while your trainer Santosh is going to take you through the hands-on training experience. And before we start, we recommend that you're signed into your Zoho Campaigns account if you wish to shadow the actions of your trainer. And please do not mess with any of your existing settings. Do create a test instance of anything that you would wish to try. All right, guys. So do we have any questions here? Okay, I do not see any questions. However, I am going to roll out my first question, and that is also going to be the first poll for today. Here it goes. Are you familiar with an email marketing system? So, be it Zoho campaigns or any other marketing system, have you used them in the past? And just to gauge how familiar are you with the terminologies and the process. Okay, it looks like majority of you have already engaged with some form of an email marketing system. And thank you all so much for the participation in this poll. Let me quickly display the results and hop on to the agenda for today. There will be an overview of the session, followed by the hands-on session, which will be taken care of by Santosh. And finally, there will be a quick recap by Anjana before she wraps the session. Thank you all so much for your patience. That is it from me. Let me now quickly welcome Santosh to take the session forward. Santosh, the virtual stage is all yours.
Thank you, John. So, hi everyone, a warm welcome. So, my name is Santosh, and I'm with Zoho Campaigns for last 5 years, and I take care of Zoho Campaigns pre-sales. At the same time, I take care of the trading sessions as well. So today we'll be discussing on Zoho campaigns, like what Zoho campaign is and how it's going to help you with the marketing purpose. So this will be like a I see like most of you are having a hands-on experience with Zoho campaigns, and we have like few attendees who are not aware about Zoho campaigns. So Zoho campaign is an email marketing application, and this is being used for like any marketing emails. And once after you shoot out a marketing email, you'll be getting an like reports like how many opened, how many clicked, from where they opened, and so what are the links they clicked on it, when they clicked on it, what time they clicked on it. So all these reports will be shown up. So today we'll be discussing on email marketing, like how to automate, like how benefit the email automation is going to be there in your marketing purpose. And so let me jump into the sessions. So before we start the session, like I have like my colleague Swetika on the Q&A. So whenever you have any questions, like please feel free to shoot out your questions, so she'll be able to answer all your questions. So today's our first slide, like an ideal customer journey with a brand. So what do you think, like an ideal customer journey with a brand? So no matter whatever brand. So first, like lead. So when we start up a business, like we'll be getting leads, and after a certain amount of time, like the lead becomes a prospect. So and like after a couple of follow-ups, like the prospect becomes a customer. Does the journey ends over here? No, it's not. It's not at all. It's going to end over there. So we have to make the customer as a loyal customer. So in order to make the customer from a lead to a loyal customer, what are the things? And there are different marketing purpose. Like for example, like you have marketing for digital marketing, and you have like email marketing, you have like newspaper, and you have pamphlets, TV ads, radio ads. So there are different ways. And how a Zoho campaign, or like in general, like email campaign is going to help you to convert a lead to a loyal customer. So first, in lead, like we'll be nurturing the customer. So when we get a lead, like we'll try to promote a product, so like what a product does, or like what a brand does. So all these, like we'll be explaining. And later on, like we understand the customer's behavior. So in what target, like in what they're interested in. And once we found out the interest, so we'll be sending a targeted follow-up emails. And once after the follow-up email, like after a certain amount of follow-ups, like a prospect becomes a customer. So once a customer, once like a lead becomes a customer, so what happens next? So we'll be sending a consistent follow-up. So here, only when you send a consistent follow-up and when you engage with the customer, so toward the journey, so a customer is going to become a loyal customer. So this is something very important when it comes to a business. So once like we get a lead, and we have to make a customer as a loyal customer. So once after they convert as a customer, so if we stop communicating them, or if we start promoting a product, or if we start giving in a updates, like if we stop everything, so the customer, they may think that like, okay, until they become a customer, we were in touch with them. And once after we become a customer, so there's no communication with the brand, so which is going to give you a negative impact. So just give me 1 minute. So I hope like everyone can see my screen. So let me know if you're able to see my screen. So on the chat window, you can use the chat window to just let me know like whether you, yes, okay, perfect. So as I was telling, like once we stop communicating with the customers, once they become our customers, so that's going to give a negative impact. So we don't want that to happen. So we have to keep communicating them, and only then like they'll be become a loyal customer. And even if we try to bring any new products or any new service to the market, we can reach out to our existing customers. So they give a first response to our product. So when it comes to email marketing, like so what do you think, like how should our email system helps us here? So it helps to send a relevant and target email. And once after that, like we'll be scheduling a campaign. So our system helps to schedule a campaign and to automate our emails. So once like it's automated, like our time is going to save. So nowadays, like everything is getting automated, so we don't want anyone to manually sit and like send a follow-up email, because a traffic is driving into our website, like there's a huge traffic. And whenever a new lead, or like a new contact is going to get into our website, so we'll be targeting a follow-up emails to them. So we cannot expect like every time, so there is a person right in front of the system and send a follow-up email to them. So we have to make these things automated. So this is our key point today. So we'll be discussing like how to automate everything in our email marketing. So before getting into the topic, like just we'll quickly check like, so how is the journey like we'll realize like how the email marketing automation traveled with the technology. So initially like when we started with emails, so we got like one-on-one emails. So at that point of time there is no bulk mailing services, so there was only one-on-one email marketing service. So there are few services. So we were communicating with our customers like one by one. So whenever we receive like a reply, like we sent up a reply and we wait for the other customers to go and reply back. So that is how we were communicating. So later on we there was a bulk mail, it was into picture. So what we did is like we started communicating with the customers with a bulk. So if a customer is interested in product A, like if they sign up for any particular product, we sent a bulk email. So and after the bulk email, like we were not able to gauge the customers like what their interest. So some customers they may open the email, some customer they may not open, or some customer they may even give more interest like clicking on a CTA. So we were not able to communicate. So at that point of time, so we got a contextual email. So we started understanding. So we got a automation tools like wherein like when people opens the email or when people clicks on a link, or if they leave the email unopened, so we started sending follow-up email. So there was a provision wherein like we were able to gauge each and every action of the customer in terms of emails. So at this time, so technology from one-on-one till like automated email, so we have like traveled a lot. So at this point of time, like we have to thanks our digital era for email marketing. So today, like as I said, like we are going to discuss like how to maximize your email marketing efforts with a powerful automation tool. So and so as I said earlier, like automation that plays a major role when it comes to any industry, no matter whether it's a email marketing or any service, like it is very important. So this is what we are going to discuss today: workflow. So what is a workflow? So we'll be discussing that in detail. Like so when it comes to a workflow, like you can automate everything with an email marketing tool by using the workflow. So we'll be discussing this in detail in the next upcoming slides. So today, for easy understanding, we'll take an example of Zilker language. So Zilker language is the institute where they train their trainees with the different languages. So if some customers like they're interested in German, or some customers they're interested in French, so they train them and they certify them. So Zilker language. So what exactly their ideal objectives? So they want a targeted and contextual engagement and increasing the customer base. This is something very important. So every business, like we have to increase our customer base. So only when the customer base is increased, automatically the third point, the revenue increases. So if the customer base is being like it's a very small, means our revenue is not going to get increased. And once the revenue is increased, so we have to retain our customers. So that is where like the consistent follow-up comes into picture. So once they become a customer, so you have to follow up them and you have to keep on engaging with them, so that like they don't downgrade or they don't cancel your subscription or they don't move to a different product. So this is what like Zilker is looking for. And what I expect from an automating system, so these are something like 3 points which is something very important. So we have to understand the leads email behavior. So once after we shoot out the email, so we have to understand the behavior. So on which product or what exactly the customer is going to do with the email. So whether they're opening the email or they are clicking on the link. So in the email, so if I have multiple options to up like on which language they are interested in, so we have to understand. So if a customer is interested in French, so I have to shoot out a relevant email to them. So that is where like we are going to nurture it. So only when I send an email relevant to the recipient's activity, so that like the recipient is going to open the email and they're going to become my customer and they'll be subscribing my course. So these are something it's very important. So let me just quickly jump into the product and I can show you like how to accomplish this in email marketing with Zoho campaigns. And so as all you know, like this is the dashboard screen of Zoho campaign. So dashboard is going to give you like a quick heads up on where exactly your account stands. like what are the recent campaigns you have sent, or if any campaign is scheduled for next 24 hours, or like how many contacts you have on your database, like which is like Zoho campaign. So it's going to give you all sort of information. And the best part of the dashboard is like when you scroll all the way down, like you'll be getting a support related information. So this is something very important when it comes to any product. So we need to get a prompted support. So whenever you struck somewhere, so you have to immediately reach out to a support team and get that solved. So we have like three channels of support. So one is like email. So whenever you have any questions, you can drop an email to our support team. And we have like a phone support, and the third channel would be the chat support. So some of you might have a question now, so that like whether this chat is going to be a bot. No, it's not at all a bot. It's a live person is going to answer your question. So whenever you have any question, please feel free to shoot out a question over here. And on this session, like you have a questions tab, but in general, once after this session, whenever you have any questions or doubts with the product, you can reach out to our support team. And we work for 24/5, Monday to Friday. Anytime you can reach out to us. So as per our agenda, so let's get into our topic. So automation. So in Zoho campaigns, like, in automation, we have like two types of automation. One is autoresponders and workflow. And today we'll be taking up a topic on workflows and the reason why workflow. So let me just quickly give you an example like what autoresponder is and what workflow is. So when a condition is satisfied, so for example, like when a contact is added to a list, or when a recipient is going to respond to your email, or when they're not opening your campaign, so you can set a series of automated email by using autoresponders, but you'll not be able to perform further action apart from sending out an email. But workflow, so you'll be able to send out an automated email based on their activity, and on top of it you can perform multiple actions. So say for instance, like you can assign a tag, you can remove a tag, you can add a score, you can remove the contact from a list, and you can move them to a different list. So our workflow is like much more advanced than autoresponder. So that's the reason today we have took our topic of workflow. So let me just quickly go to the top workflow. So I'm going to create a workflow today. So I'm not going to use any of these existing templates. So we have these existing template which you can use it, but today I'm not going to use it. The reason is like, so when I build a template from the scratch, it will be very easy for you to understand. So I'm going to create a custom workflow. So I'm going to name it as like workshop. Okay. So workflow is like it's a three stages. One is trigger, process, end of workflow action. So what is trigger? So as a marketer, so you already defined a process, like when a prospect or when a customer is going to show interest on your product. So what has to be done? So initially there'll be a lead, and you have to make them as a prospect. And once after the prospect, you have to convert them as a customer. So you already defined the process. What is the journey from the lead till customer? So in order to kickstart the process, so there should be a trigger point. So we have like these are the triggers. First, it says form submission. So form submission is nothing but like whenever someone submits the form, so you have embedded a Zoho campaigns form on your website. So when some recipient submits the form on your website, so immediately you can start the workflow. So the first, like it can be a thank you email, and after that, like based on the customer's response, you can send like another upcoming follow-up emails. So next trigger would be list entry. So list entry is like so you're using a web form which is not a Zoho campaigns form. It can be a CRM form, or it can be a Zoho form, or it can be a Jot form or Google form, any form. So when someone submits the form, it's going to get added into your database. So let's assume your database is with Zoho CRM. So immediately you can sync them into a list. So once a contact is added to a list, so you can immediately start the workflow. So that is like a list entry. And list entry, so you might have a question whether it's going to be like just a CRM sync. No, it's not at all. So the lead can be added in any ways. It can be like an import. You can import a spreadsheet, or it can be through an API. And even for API, we have a separate trigger as well. So, but still, like you can use an API, or it can be like through like a Zapier or Zoho Flow. So you can bring in the data anyways, but whenever a new contact is added to a list, you can trigger a follow-up email. So next one would be a field update. So whenever you update a particular field, So immediately you can start. So let's assume you have a raw lead, you have a set of leads. So your salesperson, they try to promote your product, and once they are ready for the conversion, so when they are qualified, so you want to set a certain study materials or like any follow-up emails to them. So you'll be maintaining a field called qualified, and once you update a value yes, so immediately the email will be triggered, so you can kickstart this workflow. And then would be the next one would be the email action. So email action is like when you send a parent campaign, and if someone opens the email based on the recipient activity, we are going to trigger an automated emails now. So it can be like for open contact or unopened, or people who clicks on a link, or people who clicks on a specific link. So let's assume like you're conducting a webinar. So you're trying to promote your webinar. So on your email content, like you have different links, like you have your website link, you have your social media link, and you have a registration button. If someone clicks on the registration button, so you want to trigger a follow-up email to them. So you can do that with the email action. And open trigger. So as I said earlier, open trigger is nothing but it's an API. So there are few services we don't have a direct integration with Zoho campaigns. So at that point of time, you can use an API. So if your organization have a SQL server or any in-house database, so at that point of time, you can use a open API. So we'll be giving you a API wherein you can connect your database with Zoho campaigns and you can bring in the data. So once you add the data through API, you can trigger the workflow. And next would be like you can assign a tag. Whenever a tag is assigned or whenever a tag is removed, like you can kickstart this workflow. And these two last two components, so this will be more helpful for any e-commerce industry. So whenever a purchase is not completed, if it's an abandoned cart, you can start up the workflow. And when someone purchased the product, you can send a thank you email to them, and you can try sending like upselling like any other product, something relevant to it. So you can send a purchase follow-up to them. And for today's session, let me take an example of list entry. So I'm going to use this list entry. So when you drag and drop this trigger, so first it's going to ask you to select the list. So we have to select the list. So whenever a new contact is added to this list. So let me take an example of this prospect list. So whenever a new contact is added to this list, so first I want to trigger a follow-up email. So this follow-up email, so I'll be triggering like immediately because like so it's going to be a thank you email. So Zilka, they have a setup like web form. So once a form is submitted, immediately it will be added into Zoho CRM, and from CRM we have created a immediate sync. So whenever a new lead is added to Zoho CRM, in next few seconds it's going to get synced into Zoho campaigns. So once it's been added, immediately I'll be triggering a follow-up email, so saying a thank you email. So this will be a general email. So in this email, like in this like I can create a content. So in this email, like I'll be giving an option for the recipients to select on which product, like which language they are interested in, whether they are interested in French or they are interested in Spanish or they are interested in uh, German, so any language. So whenever you try to create a campaign, like first it's a subject line. So subject line is something it's very important when it comes to email marketing, because like subject line is one which is going to make the customer to open the email. So subject line is something is very important. Subject line and sender address. So these two are something very important because before opening the email, when a customer gets a notification, so they're going to see your brand name and the subject line. So these two something is very important. So subject line, it should be something relevant to your campaign content, and it should be something short and crispy. So for example, like I'm going to mark it like so just for you. And I want to personalize. So I want my customer's first name. So it should be personalized. So I'm going to use this merge tag option. So F name is nothing but it's a first name. So I'm using my first name merge tag. So whenever someone submits the form, like immediately it will be added into Zoho campaigns. And once it's been added, the workflow will be triggered and it will say like if the email is going to send to John, like it will say like just for you, John. So John thinks, okay, it's a email which is being personally sent to him. So it's not a bulk email or it's not a marketing email. It's a personal email which is being sent to John. So personalizing, like it's something is very important. And next comes pre-header. Pre-header is like you can summarize what is your campaign is all about, like in one line or two line. So when a customer gets a notification of the campaign you have sent, along with the subject line, the pre-header will be shown up. And this pre-header is like it's a optional. If you wish, you can use it. If not, it's perfectly fine. And next would be the sender. So you're going to define from which email address you're going to send out a campaign. So today I've logged into this account, so lisasi@zilka.com. So, so I don't want to send a campaign from Lisa's email address. So I have a generic email address for marketing purpose. So any marketing email has to be sent out from marketing. And if any promotional email, so I have like another promotion. Any updates, we have a separate mailbox for the updates as well. So in order to add a sender address, you can just click on this drop down. You can click on add sender, type in the address, click on this check mark. The moment you click on this check mark, a verification email will be sent to the respective mailbox. So once it's been verified, the email address will be added on the drop down. So you can select any email address to send out the campaign. So it's completely your choice. And sender name, it can be either your name or your company name. So whichever your customers are familiar, you can use that. And next comes like the content. So creating a content. So as you all know, creating a content with Zoho campaign is going to be like a cakewalk. So it's much more user friendly than any other application. So under pre-designed template, we have already designed few templates for you. So you can see all these templates are responsive template. So no matter on whatever device your customers are going to open, it will be responsive. And we have like close to 300 plus templates with different categories. And the reason we have made this as a responsive template is because like nowadays we cannot expect everyone to check their email on their laptop or on their desktop. So everyone has a smartphone and they can check the emails on the smartphones. And smartphones nowadays, there are the display sizes completely different. So each one they have their unique sizes. Some may have a small size, some may have a big size. So only when the email looks responsive, it's going to give a good value for your brand. So it is very important that like you design a template. So if in case if you have a designers within your organization, make sure like they design a template which is responsive. So there are certain codes which is being used for responsive for any devices. So let me take an example, like let me select any one template over here. So this is how our editing screen looks like. So any element you see on the left hand side, so all these are drag and drop option. So you can drag it and drop it wherever you want. So just for example, like if you want to select any text element, so you can click on text and you can just drag it and drop it wherever you want. And if you want to change this image, so it's a default template, so you don't want this template and you want to have your brand logo, you can just click on this change image. You can upload the image from the computer. So let's assume like if this is the image I want to use, so I can select this image and I can play around with this image. So I can make this image as a banner, or I can make this as a small one, or I can make it as a medium as well. So it's completely your choice. So this is how like you'll be building a template. And once after you build a template, you can click on save and next. And before clicking into save and next, if you think so this template you may use it in future, you can save the template to the library. So next time again, like you can save some more time. So you can directly pull the template from the library. So I'm going to click on save and next. Okay. All right, so now we are back to the workflow. So here, like, so right now we have set the trigger and the first message is ready. And we have set the delay, like we are going to send the email immediately. So let's see like how this process works. So let me just quickly jump into the slide and we have a small task over here. So everyone, like you can scan this QR code. So it's going to take you to a web page. So if someone doesn't have a QR scanner, and you can use this URL as well. And people using like iPhone, you can directly open the camera so that it will get scanned. So you don't want to use any third-party application. So iPhone has a feature wherein like if you open the camera, it will automatically scan the QR code, and it will take you to a window which is a web form. So you can submit the form, and we are not going to use this for any marketing purpose. It's just for testing purpose. So we are going to show you like how the contact is going to get added to the list, and like you'll be getting a follow-up email. And in that follow-up email, you can just open the email, or you can leave the email unopened, or you can click on any links. We have like few links on that email. So for every action, we have a certain follow-up emails. right? So is everyone like able to access this form? So can I get an S? So you can put on a chat window. So if you're able to access the form, perfect. Yes, perfect. So, so as I said, like once you scan this form, it's going to take you to a window, and based on your action. So let's take like you are up lead. So you have shown interest on my product. So we have sent you a welcome email. In that welcome email, based on your activity, like whether you open the email, whether you click on the link, or whether you leave the campaign unopened, so I can trigger another follow-up email. So how to set that? So let's quickly jump into the product. So here we have a small toggle button which says response. So when I turn on this one, so it's going to take you to a different window. So here I can select like to which are the actions I want to do a follow-up email. So first, by default, it's for the unresponsive. And I can select, I can click on this check mark that is for the open contact. And if someone clicks on a link, and even we have an option of tracking a reply, if someone reply back to the email, so even we can send a follow-up email. And if someone clicks on a specific link, I can select a follow-up email as well. So let me just quickly save this one. So here, so we have like a follow-up email for every response. So for unresponsive, I can send a follow-up email like after 5 days or 10 days. So I don't want to bug the customers on the very next day or on very next 1 hour. So I don't want to send another follow-up email. So customer might be stuck on some other busy work. So I can send another follow-up email and see whether they are opening. So after a couple of days. For open contact, I can send another follow-up email like immediately. So like in next next day or like in next 1 hour or 2 hours, we have an option for clicked content. I can send a survey. So we have like different processes. So I can send a survey or I can do an A/B testing. So we have like a wait conditions, and like we have like a list action. So list action, you can add the contact or you can remove a contact from a particular list. And we have like conditional workflows. So when a condition like so this one, so let me just quickly drag and drop it. So if the condition is true and false, you can send a follow-up email. So these will be helpful. So whenever you're ready, like you can design a flow, like you can design a flow chart what you want to implement on this workflow, and you can start implementing it. And if in case if you struck somewhere, like so as I said earlier, like we have our support team, so they can go and help you at any time, and they can help you with any sort of your question, and wherever you struck they can help you in getting that rectified. And so today, like does the journey ends over here? So we have added the list, so we have sent a follow-up email, and here we are going to nurture it. So does it ends over here? No, it's not going to end it over here. So what is next? So we are going to send a consistent follow-up email. So how we are going to do a follow-up email? So first, hot leads. So any customer who's showing interest, so like they open my email, they click on the link, so they keep on engaging on my campaign. So after doing this workflows, like they keep on engaging on all my messages. So they are the hot leads. So they are ready for the sale. So what I can do is like I can into Zoho CRM. So we have a separate component like wherein like you can push them into Zoho CRM. So once it's been pushed to Zoho CRM, from there the salesperson will take control and they'll convert the deal. So they'll close the deal and make them as a customer. And once they become a customer, again, like the contact synced into Zoho campaign. So initially the lead will be synced, and once a lead is converted as a contact, so from Zoho campaigns, from the leads list, the lead will be removed. And again, like when you try to sync a contact, because they have converted as a contact, again the next new sync will be initiated and the contact will be synced. For the contacts, you can create a separate workflow wherein like you can send a consistent follow-up. Only then you can retain your customers. So next would be the warm leads. So warm leads, like these are the customers, they are kind of convinced, but still they are not convinced. So what you can do is like still they may need like another couple of follow-ups. So you can still give some time and you can try sending another couple of follow-up emails and see whether they are giving like more attention on your campaign. Once you see that like they're giving importance and they're engaging on all your campaign, so you can make them a hot lead and you can push them into Zoho CRM. And the last stage would be like cold leads. So cold leads, like these are the customers who are not engaging on your campaign. So initially they have shown interested. So they came to your website, they have submitted the form. So later on, like another follow-up email based on what they are interested in what language they want to learn about. So they are not showing any interest. So you can try like one or two follow-up emails for the cold leads. Even after like two or three follow-up emails, if they are not opening any of your email, you can exit them. So we have created a replica of this, like how this flow is going to work. So let me just quickly show you like how it's going to look like. So let me just quickly open a campaign tab. And if you have any questions, like please feel free to use the questions tab. All right, so this is our workflow. So this is what we have designed today. So we have like 24 attendees as entered to this workflow, and 16 are under process, and 18 has been exited from the workflow. So this is how like you can set the workflows. So we have like for unresponsive contact, like we have exited because we don't want to send follow-up emails, and moreover it's a testing purpose. So we have removed them from the workflow. So this is a replica. So this is how like you can configure your workflow. Okay. So right now you have a second task. Like on handouts, you have an attachment like wherein you can download that attachment. So the name of the attachment would be like task for the day, and you have like two questions in it. So the first question would be, how do the contacts enter this workflow? So you can take some time, you can download it, and you can zoom this image. So it's like it will not be like completely visible. You can zoom this image. So we have a question, how the contact is going to enter this workflow. So we're going to ask him what type of trigger we have selected. And in the meantime, like let me just go for the second question. So you have a second question, which is like you can send follow-up emails to the contacts based on the email activity. So here is the question two. So we have asked like how we are going to set this up. So what element we have used over here. So you can answer for that question. So you'll be getting a question popped up on your screen. So you can uh, just answer. You can take up the poll. So first you'll be getting the first question. So how do the contact enters this workflow? And next you'll be getting the second question. Okay, so form submission online form. Perfect. So I get the answers that are correct. So it is a form submission. So the first answer, like yes, it is a form submission. So whenever a form is submitted, a Zilker form is submitted, so immediately this trigger will be started. And the second question. All right. So second question on click on URLs. Okay. So let me show you like so some questions are partially correct, but let me again like go back to this slide and I can show you. So we have asked a question how we are going to set this up. So this trigger. So we have this response setting. So you have to toggle this response. So we have sent this message. In this message, so if someone opens the email or if someone clicks on a link or if someone like leaves the campaign unopened, we have to send a follow-up email. How we are going to set that up? So we are going to use this response setting. So when you toggle this button, it will take you to a different window. And here is where you'll be selecting like for what are the responses you're going to send another follow-up email. So you'll be selecting open and you'll be selecting click, and if there is any specific link you can select specific links as well. So in this like I have like a LinkedIn, like I have Pinterest, Facebook. So I can select any link. So for every actions, like we can trigger a follow-up email. So that is what our second question is all about. So, like today, like I think, like so you got an idea, like how to set up a automation on your business, like how to set up like a workflow, how to set up a trigger, and what are the processes available in Zoho campaigns, and how to automate your email marketing by using Zoho campaigns. So you got a idea like how this is going to work. So you can start implementing, like even after this session is completed, like you can start implementing this features, and whenever you have any questions you can reach out to us, because when you have an hands-on experience you may come up with like couple of questions. So please don't hesitate to reach out to our support team, so that like they'll be able to help you, right? So that's it for the day. Like so these are the topics we have on our agenda. So right now let me just quickly hand over the session to Anjana, who's going to give you a quick recap. So Anjana, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Santosh. Thanks a lot. Good morning, everyone. I'm just waiting for my screen to get shared. But I hope you guys enjoyed this session. And I've seen a lot of active participation here, which I'm really glad to see that. That's fantastic. But before jumping into my session of recap, I'm just going to run a couple of polls. Not to worry, this is not going to be absolutely technical. It's going to be generic questions, just to have an understanding, about the email automation as well, or about the marketing, I would suggest. So the second question of the day, so what type of marketing do you prefer? Do you prefer email marketing, or SMS is easier, or social media marketing? Well, I could see most of them saying email marketing. That's glad. I'm just going to give a few more seconds because I can see a lot of people answering this question. Fantastic. Most of them are through email marketing. Great. And few of them on social marketing. I think a couple of votes for the SMS marketing. Just going to show you the results. I hope you can see that the maximum is email marketing. And the last question for the poll. So what do you expect from an email marketing system? Do you think you would like to attract more users to your company? You wanted to constantly engage your users, or would you like to nurture your potential customers into lifetime customers, or do you want to drive sales and revenue? I could see it's a tie between lifetime customers and drive sales and revenue as well, but mostly people say is drive sales and revenue. I'm just going to again show you the results as well. So it's mostly drive sales and revenue as well. Thank you so much for participating. I'm just going to show my slides. And before that, please make sure you actually download the handouts as Santosh and John insisted. We have a task there you can also try at the end of after the session as well, leisurely. And if you have any questions, you can also come back to us through the email as well. So, and there's also the URL code which Santosh shared to us, as well as there is another URL, URL link there as well. Please make sure you go and fill in there as well. Just a couple of activities which is given. So in today's session, as you can see, Santosh gave us a very good introduction about email marketing. Like he gave us what Zoho campaigns does as well. And we did also take a look at the workflow automation, how it makes your life much easier to email to your customers in an orderly manner. And also you had a couple of activities. Actually, I can see that quite a lot of people have answered the questions, which is great. And make sure you also have, once you send your campaigns, just make sure you also have a consistent follow-up to your customers, and just to gain some good trust. So as you can see in the Q&A, Swati is being answering all the questions rapidly. So she's live. She's going to be live for next few minutes as well. So make sure you can ask her tough question as well. So before that, I just want to give you quite a nice information about Zoho community in Australia and New Zealand. This is completely a local team where I'm going to share you a link about the communities where you can share your ideas, talk about your products, or you can also talk about Zohos. We have our partners there. We have other customers as well. You can share your, as I said, you can have a good discussion place there. We have few meetups coming up in future. So the local team, mostly they are in Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane, and Perth as well. So make sure you register there as well. And if nothing pops at the moment, not a problem. You can also email us at support@zohocampaigns.com. We are available 24 into 5. Our product experts will communicate to you in email. And I've got another exciting news for you. There's an upcoming workshop in Sales IQ. I'm just going to pop in the registration link as well. This is absolutely for free. We have a lot of good information about Sales IQ, how you can use it. So please make sure you register by today. Or if you've missed our past workshop, we also actually shared a past recording link. You can go and take a look at it. So any feedback in our workshop, you feel free to give your opinion. Your suggestion truly matters to us. So we will be able to improve our future workshops as well. So once you exit this Showtime, there'll be a feedback form which pops up. Please make sure you give your opinion there. I once again take this opportunity. Thank you very much for your time. And I hope to see you next week. Please take care and stay safe. Thank you.